It is a cornerstone of the Eastern Shore, not only economically but culturally. It's steeped in tradition here on Delmarva, a tradition with a rich history that affects a wide array of people on the peninsula.
The industry has made remarkable advances since its inception in the early 20s and has given generations of farmers a way to make a living while stimulating growth in the area. Here to tell us more about this century of growth, this is James Fisher, who is the communications manager and spokesman with the Delmarva Chicken Association. Thank you for joining us this afternoon.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, thank you.
So, can you kind of sort of give us a thumbnail, a brief overview of what the Delmarva Chicken Association does?
Sure. For many years we were known as Delmarva Poultry Industry.
Right.
We changed our name to sort of reflect more what we do. But you can think of us kind of as a chamber of commerce for chicken. So we represent chicken growers. We have hundreds of chicken growers, the family farmers who raise chicken, as our members. Okay. Delmarva's 5 chicken companies also support us, and hundreds of allied businesses that provide services and goods to the chicken community.
Wow.
So we represent them. We give farmers ways to make their farms better, education. We speak up for farmers. It's hard for them to travel to state houses to lobby for themselves. So we try to be their voice to decision makers and lawmakers as well.
And now you have an educational campaign called Growing for 100 Years. Talk about that.
It's a great story. This is one of those rare cases where we know one person founded an industry, and it happened here on Delmarva. So the short version is in 1923, Cecile Steele of Ocean View, Delaware, was like many of her neighbors living in the country. She was used to ordering a couple dozen chickens at a time for eggs, backyard eggs, very common in the 20s. By mistake, one day in 1923, she receives 500 chickens. Imagine having 450 more chickens than you wanted on your doorstep. But she and her husband, Wilmer, had a flash of inspiration. They quickly built some extra chicken coops, and she decided, I'm going to find a buyer for these chickens as meat, which back then was very uncommon. You wouldn't go to the store and buy a tray pack or buy a roaster. It just wasn't what you do.
Right.
But she found a way. They raised them for 18 weeks. They sold them. They ended up in hotels, like in big cities, for fancy meals. And in today's dollars, she earned $11 a pound for the more than 400 chickens that she sold.
Wow.
And that's many times more valuable than what chicken is today. Mm-hmm. So the next time she ordered 1,000 on purpose. And she was Delmarva's first chicken grower.
How about that? Mm-hmm. Now, help me out with something here. Chicken farmers are working hard to protect the environment.
Yes.
How so?
Well, we've made a lot of advances in those 100 years of chicken on Delmarva. Today, it takes 75% fewer resources to grow chicken than it did in the 1960s. So we use less fuel, we use less water, we use less land than we did before. So that's part of our conservation mentality.
So raising chicken sustainably is an important factor for modern farmers, right?
It's very important, and especially here in the Chesapeake region. I mean, our farmers and our standards are sort of more environmentally conscious than really anywhere else in the country. And that's really important to us because, the farmers walk out their own back doors to go to these chicken houses. They fish in the same rivers that all of our neighbors do. So it's very important to them to protect the environment.
So this industry affects growers from all walks of life.
Yeah, it's interesting. Every year we give outstanding grower awards to chicken growers who have really excelled in the past year. And so I've had reason to meet dozens of families who raise chickens. And some of them, some of them are 4th and 5th generation Delmarva natives, and they've always been here. Others are actually 1st generation immigrants to America. And raising chicken is a way for them to get a foothold for themselves and their children. I've met people who have retired from office jobs and said, I don't really want to be in the city. I want to retire and start another career and be a farmer. And we think that can't happen anymore, but it really can with chicken growing.
How about that?
Yeah. So how can folks learn more about this educational campaign?
Well, they can go to dcachicken.com and learn about it. We have a timeline of interesting events through history. Many of the chicken companies have long roots on the shore. Purdue, of course, founded here. So they can visit us. They're going to see over the year. They're going to see billboards and ads about this campaign, about growing for 100 years.
James Fisher with the Delmarva Chicken Association. Thank you so much for joining us.
It was great to be here. Thanks for having me.